Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. Welcome back to Surup IT Learning Solutions. So, in the last part 1 video, we have seen Windows updates management through PowerShell, and as I have promised, I have came up to this particular part for managing our Windows image files. That is your WIM file and ESD files through PowerShell. So, in this particular video, we will learn Windows offline image management through PowerShell. Okay, so what we are going to learn? So we will practically execute following steps in this part 2 video. So part 1 video we have seen how to manage our Windows updates through PowerShell. So in this part 2 video we will see first of all introduction to the WIM, that is Windows Image, and ESD, electronic software download file architecture. So what are those WIM files, what are those ESD files, we will see. Next we will see ESD to WIM and vice versa conversion through PowerShell. How to convert your ESD to WIM and WIM to ESD. Why do we require this conversion also, that I will explain later on this particular video. Next is we will see how to remove or how to extract unwanted OS version entries from multi-version WIM file. We want to extract only certain entries or certain version WIM files from our Multiboot OS version entries. So we will see how to do that. Next we will see Windows patches and packages integration into WIM file through PowerShell. And then we will see creation of multi-version OS WIM file. And then we will see Windows Multiboot OS ISO creation and testing. How to create a fresh ISO with multiple versions inside it, and we will test it by installing a test virtual machine. Okay, so there are lots of concepts which needs to be cleared in this particular video, so do watch it carefully and do watch it till the end. It might be confusing at times, but if you want to learn it correctly, you can always pause and reverse this video and see what explanation I am just giving at that particular point. Okay, and we will do maximum of the above practical steps through PowerShell. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, introduction to the WIM file architecture. So what is WIM file? You must have seen it in a particular ISO sources folder. There is an install.vim file. So what is a WIM file? What is its architecture? So a WIM file, that is Windows imaging format, is a file format used by Microsoft to store disk images. It is primarily used for creating and managing system images, backups, and installations in Windows environments. So here are some of the key points about WIM files. So the purpose for the WIM files are typically used to capture the content of an entire disk or a specific partition. So they contain an image of the system, including the operating system, installed programs, files, settings, and more. So this makes them useful for system recovery, deployment, and backup. Next is compression. So WIM file supports compression, which allows for smaller file sizes. So this is an important for reducing storage space and speeding up the transfer process when deploying the image. Next is mounting and deployment. So WIM files can be mounted as a virtual drive, allowing users to view and interact with the contents without having to extract the entire image. tools like the deployment imaging servicing and management tool, that is DISM, and ImageX are often used to work with Vim files, particularly for tasks like deploying Windows installation. So we are doing exactly the same. We will be mounting our Vim files using the DISM commands through PowerShell, and we will be integrating our updates. We will be extracting only certain part of your Vim file, only certain version of Vim file using the DISM commands in the upcoming steps. Next is multi-disk support. So a Vim file can contain multiple images. For instance, it could have different versions of configurations of Windows that could be installed, making it flexible for different deployment scenarios. And then common uses. So Vim files are commonly used in scenarios like installing or reinstalling Windows, deploying customized Windows images to multiple computers, system backup, and restoration. So to summarize, a Vim file is a compressed disk image used to deploy or backup Windows based systems efficiently. Okay, so this is an overall introduction to Vim file. Now next is introduction to the ESD file architecture. So an ESD file, that is electronic software download file, is a file format used primarily by Microsoft for distributing software, especially operating system updates, installation files, and system recovery tools. So ESD files are typically encrypted and compressed to reduce the size of the software package for easier download and distribution. So a Vim file is a compressed format of your entire system image or operating system image, and ESD is further compressed image of the Vim file, you can say that. So .esd files are most commonly associated with Windows operating system. Of course, the ESD files are used for downloading and installing updates or for distributing Windows operating system installation files. So example given when upgrading or installing Windows. So Windows recovery. The second purpose of ESD files may also contain recovery images for use in repairing or reinstalling Windows. So these ESD files are generally used with the Windows update process or through media creation tool for upgrading to a new version of Windows. So ESD files are often converted into ISO files or for easier use in installation media or to burn onto DVDs or USB drives. So key features of ESD files: it is compressed and encrypted format, so to save space and protect the files, the content is compressed and often encrypted, meaning it may not be directly accessible without using appropriate tools. So it is used for installation or recovery, so mainly used for OS updates, installations, and recovery purposes. So if you have an ESD file that you want to use for installing Windows, so you may need to convert it to an ISO file or use specific tools like the ESD to ISO converter to extract its contents and create bootable media. So this is the theoretical portion I want to cover for the understanding of Vim file and ESD files architecture. Now let's move on to our practical steps now, which will be exciting for learning more PowerShell commands and architecture, how to use the PowerShell to manage your Windows imaging files. Okay, so let's start with the step 1. So step 1 will be, we will be creating a fresh virtual machine called Win 2022 SRV through PowerShell only. So as I said, I want to cover all the steps, maximum steps, 97%, 99%, if not 100%, through PowerShell only. So let's see what will be our step 1. So in step 1, execute PowerShell script through admin context. Number 1, so this particular script I have given the Win 2022 SRV underscore VM underscore creation as a name for creating a new virtual machine with following configuration. So what are those configurations? So VM name will be Win 2022 SRV. So VM RAM will be 24 GB. VM VHDX, that is our primary partition C drive, will be 100 GB virtual hard disk, and VM location will be J drive, then win underscore patching, and then our platform to execute this particular PowerShell script is our Windows 2022 base, that is our Hyper-V host. So I'm coming back to my main machine over here, and I will go to my folder in desktop, and there I have just created one folder called script. Under that, final. So I've created the 4 sets of our PowerShell script. So set 1 will be creating the VM creation number 1, number 2, like the 6 PowerShell scripts are there. Don't worry about this as of now. I will explain each and every PowerShell script in detail whenever we are executing that particular PowerShell script. Okay, and the next step will be again having 7 to 12 another set of 6 PowerShell scripts. For this particular video purpose, we will be executing only PowerShell number 12 up to 12, only 12 scripts. Now set 3 13 to 18 and set 4 19 to 24, those are the repetitions of set 2. In the set 2, we will be actually creating our Windows 11 media, and we will be extracting the install.esd of Windows 11 multiboot version. Then we will be integrating our updates. We will be again re-exporting it to a multiboot OS ISO. So everything I will explain in the detail whenever we are explaining. So don't get confused as of now. And let's say how it can be done step by step. So 6 to 12, up to 12 we will be doing it for this particular video purpose. Okay, set 3 and 4 are for Windows 10 and Windows 2022 ISO creation. So as of now I am just creating Windows 11, so only 1 and 2 are meaningful for us as of now. So don't think too much ahead. Let's see, let's go one by one. So set 1, number 1. So as I said, what the number 1 is doing, it is creating a virtual machine through our Hyper-V, through PowerShell script, and our configuration will be this: VM name, VM RAM, and everything will be like this. So let's go on to our main machine again, and here I'm just running this PowerShell as an administrator. Okay, and now I'm opening the first set, first script. Okay, VM creation. Okay, now before hitting the execution button or running the script, I want to explain you what is exactly going on over here. So I have just defined some of the parameters, like VM name will be Win 2022 SRV. Those are the variables I have already set. So you must have been knowing that before creating any PowerShell script, you have to define some of the common parameters which you need to execute as a variable, so that you don't need to execute it again and again manually, or you don't need to specify it manually in PowerShell script also. So the first variable is VM name. So VM name is Win 2022 SRV. Path will be J drive win patching, this folder. Okay, J drive win patching. Okay, so let's see if the J drive is having win patching folder. It doesn't have the win patching, but no problem. If this particular path is not existing, the script will create it automatically. Okay, third is our network switch. So I have given the network switch name as internal. Hyper-V is having internal and external switches. Internal is for LAN connectivity and external is for your internet connectivity. You want to understand what are the internal switch, what are the external switch for Hyper-V context. So you can see my previous video, Hyper-V nested virtualization for that. Okay. Next is install media. Now through which ISO we will be installing our Windows 2022 SRV OS. So that path I have just given up to the ISO full path. Okay. So this is the path through which it will install our operating system, and then I have given the conditions. Once the variables are set, add the DVD drive, then add it to the SCSI controller with the VM name. This is for adding the virtual machine, and new virtual machine, new VM is for creating the new virtual machine. Name will be our VM name. Memory will be our 24 GB. Generation, Hyper-V virtual machine generation will be 2, and then the path will be our virtual machine's path. That means this path for storing our VSD and VM configurations, and then our C drive means primary partition will be VSD partition will be 100 GB, and switch name will be switch, that is your internal switch. So this particular line exactly creating your virtual machine. Then after creating it, it will add our DVD drive also with the controller, SCSI controller location 1, and it will map our ISO also, that is your install media. It will map to that particular DVD drive. This is the second command. So these two commands are very important to understand. And then mount the installation media. As I said, it will mount our DVD drive to our installation media, and then configure the virtual machine to boot from DVD drive. So it will set our VM firmware to boot from first boot device through DVD drive, because we want to start our virtual machine booting from our DVD drive to install the OS, because it will not have anything, it will be a fresh virtual machine, right? And then finally we will give this particular command, start VM name. That means it will start the virtual machine. So as you can see, by explaining all these commands, it may take some time, but once I am hitting this start button, it will immediately create that particular virtual machine, and it will immediately start that virtual machine. So we have to be fast, but no problem. Even if you are missing, we can always reset our virtual machine. So let's see. I'm hitting down the execution button now, run script, and it should create our virtual machine. So you can see creating the new virtual machine. It is creating. If I am coming back here, it has already created this machine, and it has already started booting it from here. But since we have not fast enough to press the enter, by the time in the background it has already gone for the next option. But no problem, we will reset it, and now I will hit enter over here, or sometimes it is not responding that way, no problem, I will start it again. Okay, now I am hitting enter. So this is a simple script to create your virtual machine. Okay, and now you can see the operating system installation has been started. So let's go back to our PPT. So step 2 will be install your Windows 2022 OS as a fresh Hyper-V virtual machine. So this is a straightforward procedure. So I will say next, I will say install now. So as of now, don't have a product key, and I want to show you one more thing, but let's start this installation in the background. So I will say custom, and this is a 100 GB C drive, and I will say next. So it will start installing my operating system. So as we can see, whatever the configuration we have given in our particular script, it has exactly taken that one. So if I am going back one by one, so what will be our VM name? So Win 2022 SRV, right? Then what will be our path for our virtual machine. So it is J win patching and then the VM name. Okay, it has created all those folder structure also. And then next will be our memory will be 24 GB and generation 2. Okay, so our memory is showing 24 GB and this is a generation 2 virtual machine. So everything has been defined through our PowerShell script. Okay, so I'm cancelling this. So let it install. Once this is installed and ready for the next step, I'm coming back to you with the next practical step to execute. I'm pausing this video as of now. So our operating system installation has been completed. I'm just entering the administrator password. And now our Windows 2022 server operating system should be ready. So by the time it is booting for the first time, let's go back to our next step. So the next step will be we need to execute the next PowerShell script number 2, that is your Windows 2022 SRV VM VHDX addition. That means we need to add a secondary hard disk. So for adding the second virtual hard disk, which will be of 200 GB, as you can see as D drive, because we will be storing all our images, all our ESD files and all our scripts on D drive. Okay, so the platform for executing this particular script will be our Windows 2022 base system, that is our Hyper-V host. Okay, so let's go back to our main machine and you can see our Windows 2022 SRV has been booted. Let me just close this server manager. This is our fresh operating system, nothing inside it. Okay, I'm minimizing it and I'm going back to my scripts folder. And this is our second script which we need to execute. So I'm going back to my PowerShell. This is our Hyper-V host. Okay, and I'm double clicking on it. Let me clear this screen first. Okay, so as you can see on the second PowerShell script, we are actually adding the second hard disk for our Win 2022 SRV VM. Okay, so the VHD size will be 200 GB and our path will be this. Okay, so let's start with adding this thing. So the actual addition command which I need to share with you guys is this one: add VM hard disk drive. Then the VM name will be our Windows 2022 SRV. Path will be this, like this, and then the controller location, that is your SCSI controller location, will be 1, controller number 0, controller set SCSI and all. Okay, and then this confirmation. So this is the main actual addition script. So let's start this now. Now you can see the new VSD has been successfully created and we have already added it also in our Windows 2022 SRV virtual machine. Okay, so let's verify this, what it has exactly done. So I will go back to the settings and you can see over here there is one more hard disk which has been added and this is the path. Okay, and let's see, now it has been added through VM level, through operating system level. We have not configured it yet, right? So let's move on to the next step. So our PowerShell script platform to execute is Windows 2022 base, that is Hyper-V host, that we have already done. Now next step is we need to execute the next PowerShell script number 3, that is this configuration inside Windows 2022 SRV for formatting the second hard disk as 200 GB and the script platform to execute is virtual machine Windows 2022 SRV, right? So many of you must have been knowing we have added this particular hard disk, but we have not formatted it yet. We have not given any what do you say, partition number or the partition drive like D drive and everything. So if I'm doing it manually, I need to go to the disk manager over here, disk management, and here this is the second hard disk what we have thing. I need to right click and then say first it is online, make it online, then format and everything. But this everything we'll do through our PowerShell script. But this PowerShell script need to be run through this particular virtual machine only, right? Because we are configuring our hard disk through this virtual machines operating system level. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just first opening the PowerShell, and I'm opening this ISC console. First of all, I'm just making it to taskbar and then running it as an administrator. Now the first step is a common sense step which I have not mentioned in our PPT, is to set the PowerShell execution policy. Set execution policy sorry, is equal to unrestricted. Okay, so this is a normal command which will give us full access for executing any PowerShell script through this machine. So just entering and saying yes to all. So this is a simple mandatory step. Now we are ready to execute our scripts. So what I'm doing is I'm coming back to my main machine, and this disk configuration number 3, 4, 5, 6, all the scripts we need to run through our Windows 2022 SRV VM. So I'm just copying it, copy, and I'm going back to my Windows 2022 SRV virtual machine. Over here on a C drive, I'm just creating a simple folder, scripts, pasting it over here. Okay, so all the scripts which needs to be executed through our Windows 2022 SRV, I will be pasting out over here time to time. So our next script will be disk configuration. Okay, so I'm just double clicking in it, and you can see over here the first command which I'm doing is I'm calling my Win32 CD-ROM drive variable, system variable, and changing my D drive to E drive, because currently the D drive is mapped to my ISO through which we have installed the operating system. So I need to change this D drive to E drive first, right? So, and then I will be formatting my secondary hard disk and making it as a D drive. So, and giving the label as this one. So this is the script which I will be running. First changing CD drive later from D drive to E drive, then I'm calling up my secondary hard disk drive later, and then formatting it with my NTFS file system. So this is the second script which I am doing. I'm just running it through, and now you can see it has completed our volume formatting and giving us a secondary partition as D drive. Now let's verify it through Windows Explorer. So you can see over here, first change is our ISO has been changed from D to E drive, and the D drive has been assigned to our secondary hard disk, which is 200 GB. 199 GB it is showing in an Explorer size. Okay, so our script has been completed successfully. Okay, so this script has been completed. Our secondary partition is ready now with 200 GB space. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is we need to execute another PowerShell script number 4 for mapping the latest ADK version on ISO on Windows 2022 SRV virtual machine. So I have already downloaded the latest ADK version and I have made it as an ISO, and I am mapping that ISO on this machine. Since we are mapping this ISO on VM level, we need to run this script through our Hyper-V host level. So I am going back to my main machine set 1 and fourth number and WADK media, right? So setting up this media, and I'm clearing this one, and now you can see the simple set VMD drive and my ISO path is mentioned, and this latest WADK version is this one 10.11.26.100.2454, which is released on December 2024. Okay, so I'm just mapping it. So mapping latest WADK media, and this is successfully mapped. Okay, so let's go back and verify this, and you can see the DVD drive has been mapped to our Windows 2022 SRV VM. So I'm just pressing OK. So this is done. So let's move on to the next step. So we have already executed this particular script through our Windows 2022 base system, right? That is our Hyper-V host. So next step will be, we need to execute the next script number 5 for installing latest ADK version on Windows 2022 SRV VM system. Okay, and our script platform to run will be 2022 SRV virtual machine. Now what we are exactly doing is, we will be installing ADK latest version. So Windows ADK version is 10.1.26.100.2454, that is released on December 2024, as I explained earlier. Then features to install, what features we are exactly installing. For ADK we will be installing deployment tools and USMT, and for WinP we will be installing WinP add-ons. So through manual way, if I am installing it, it will look like this, but I am installing through PowerShell script. So I am going back to my Win 2022 SRV machine over here, and since we have completed our disk format in the last step, I'm closing this and I'm coming back to the number 5, that is WADK installation script. Okay, so as you can see over here, I'm calling the ADK setup.exe. The ISO has already been mapped over here, so I'm calling this ADK setup. If I'm going inside, so this is the ADK setup.exe. So let me show you the extension also if you want to. So show hidden and hide it. So this particular ADK setup I am calling through my PowerShell, and the install path will be C program files and the default path, and the features option ID I am just calling it as C over here USMT, user migration tool. So this is the first feature which I am installing, right? So deployment tools and USMT features, right? You can see over here two features have been selected, deployment tools and user state migration tool. Sorry, see, deployment tools, this is the first feature, and USMT, this is the second feature. Okay, so this is the first portion, and then on the second portion, since those are two different folders, I am calling the second folder for installing my ADK WinP add-ons, right? So let me show you the manual path over here also. The second path will be this one, and then again I am calling this ADK WinP setup exe. Okay, so in a single script I am installing three features. What are the features? Your deployment tools, your USMT, and then WinPE add-ons. Okay, so these three features I'm installing in a single script, and in the end I'm just restarting the computer by pressing confirm button. Okay, so let's start our script. So you can see over here, installing latest WADK with deployment tools and USMT features. It will take some time. And now you can see the WADK deployment tools and USMT features installed successfully. And now it is further installing my WinP components. Now it has finished the WinP components installation also. WinP component install, and it is restarting our system after successful WADK installation. So it is asking us for the confirmation. As I have given this confirmation option over here, restart computer, I am just saying yes to all. So now it will restart. I'm just logging with the administrator account now. Okay, so our WADK, that is Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit, has been installed. Okay, now why do we require this WADK? To use the DISM command for managing our WIM files or ESD files. So that's why we have installed this particular WADK component. Okay, now let's move on to the next step. So next step is we need to create a folder structure for extracting our ESD files or WIM files, and then we need to map it also on different folders. And also the next step will be execute the PowerShell script number 6. I have just given the name Win Updates folders to create a folder structure in Windows 2022 SRV VM as follows. So what will be the folder structure? We'll be creating in D drive a Vim folder. Then under that Vim folder we will be creating 3 different folders: Win10 22H2, and then inside it updates, and then again Win11 23H2, and then inside it the updates folder, and then the last folder will be dvim Win 2022 SRV 21H2 updates. Now let me explain what are those folders are. D and Vim means a main root folder, Vim folder. Inside that I have created 3 different folders for 3 different operating systems: Windows 10 22H2 version, Windows 11 23H2 version, and Windows 2022 Server 21H2 server version. Okay, but for this video sake we will be only using this second folder. Okay, Windows 11 23H2 and the updates folder. We will be copying our ESD files in this particular folder. We will be converting it to Vim file in this particular folder, and we will be copying the latest updates also for Windows 11 to 3H2 into this updates folder. Okay, don't get confused as of now. Don't think too much ahead. I will explain each folder in detail whenever that step is actually we are performing. Okay. So the PS script platform to execute, of course, will be our Windows 2022 SRV virtual machine. So I'm coming back to my 2000 SRV machine and opening my PowerShell console. And now you can see the 6th script which we need to now run. So it is simple make dir command through which we will be creating those folders and subfolders. A simple script. So I'm just creating, and it has created within a second. Okay, now let's verify it what it has exactly done. So inside D drive, the Vim folder it has created, Inside that it has created 3 folders: Windows 10 22H2, Windows 11 23H2, and Windows 2022 SRV 21H2. Okay, inside that nothing as of now, only a simple folder called updates inside each folder. Okay, but inside that nothing. Okay, so we will be copying certain ESD files and WIM files within the next steps. Okay, so this script has been completed. Let's move on to the next step. So before moving on to the next step, I need to explain you what we are exactly doing, because it may be a confusing procedure for the guys if I am directly executing it. So let's try to understand with a simple flow chart over here. So what I am doing is, first of all, I am mapping step 1. See, original operating system image, that is install.esd, I will be copying. That is our step number 1. First we will map our Windows 11 operating system ISO on our VM, and we will be copying our install.esd. That will be our step 1. This is regarding to Windows 11 operating system only, so pay attention over here. Second step, after copying the install.esd file, we will be individually extracting the OS images part. What we are doing, we will see in the upcoming part. Let's say a single ESD is having 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 images. Windows 10 home, sorry, Windows 11 home, Windows 11 Pro, Windows 11 Pro N, Windows 11 Enterprise, Windows 11 Enterprise N, Windows 11 Enterprise IoT. All those are integrated within single ESD, but we don't want those many images. We want only certain images. Let's say 3 images: Windows 11 Pro, Windows 11 Enterprise, and Windows 11 Enterprise IoT. Only 3 images. If I want to extract it from a ESD. So that will be our second step. Now step 3 will be, once those 3 images have been obtained from main ESD, I will be integrating the latest updates in each image. Let's say now it is running February 2025. Second Tuesday has already been passed. So I will be integrating the latest updates. So on all the 3 images. Okay. And the step 4 will be, I will be appending and merging all those 3 individual operating systems again back to one single image or single ESD. Okay. And next step, or the last step, will be, finally we will be creating an ISO with that particular ESD which we have created in step number 4, and all the 3 images have been integrated with the latest updates within a single ISO. So we can choose by the time of booting which operating system image we need to install. So I hope I am clear. I'm again explaining one more time. The first will be our original Windows 11 OS multi-version ISO. I will be mapping it and copying the install.esd file. That is our first. So you can see over here the image copying process is there. Once that install.esd is obtained, it will be having a multiple version operating systems. Let's say 15 or 16 images in a single ESD file. So I will be extracting 3 images out of it. What are the 3 images? Windows 11 Pro, Windows 11 Enterprise, and Windows 11 Enterprise IoT. Right? 3 images have been extracted from the main ESD. Then I will be applying Windows 11 2025 February 2025 updates, latest updates on all the 3 ones. Okay. So that means all the 3 images have been updated through latest updates. Then I will be again appending those 3 images into single ISD. Okay, all the 3 images, single ISD, and that single ISD I will be converting to ISO. And this ISO will be ready for our Windows 11 Professional, Windows 11 Enterprise, and Windows 11 IoT, Enterprise IoT, in a single ISO. Right? So I hope I have explained it as per best of my understanding. If you want to again listen to it, pause this video, reverse it. Okay. So let's do it now practically. It may be confusing for listening all this explanation as a theoretical part. When we are doing it actually on practical node, you will be having more understanding for it. So let's move on to the next step. So next step will be, we need to execute one PowerShell script number 7 for mapping our Windows 11 OS ISO on Windows 2022 SRV virtual machine. So what I'm doing is, this is my virtual machine. I need to map the ISO on this machine. Which ISO? Windows 11. Since this is a VM level ISO mapping, I need to execute that script through my Hyper-V host level. So I'm clearing this. I'm going back here. And I'm going to set to, as I said in the beginning, we will be only executing these many scripts now, 7 to 12. Okay, but the next 13 to 18 or 19 to 24 are repetition, so I will be not showing it on a video, but you will get a feeling what are those scripts at the end of this video. So number 7, setting up the Windows 11 media. Okay, so it's a simple thing. Again, I am just mapping the ISO of my Windows 11 23H2, which is a multi-boot ISO. Okay, so executing it, and you can see mapping Windows 23H2 OS ISO. Okay, now it has mapped. Let's verify it, what it has done. And you can see over here, this particular ISO has been mapped to my Win 2022 SRV VM. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. Now the ISO has been mapped. What will be our next step? So for this particular script, the platform will be our Windows 2022 Hyper-V host that we have already done. So next step, we need to copy this install.esd file from this ISO. So we need to execute one script number 8 for copying the install.esd from Windows 11 ISO to D drive, WIM, and our Win 11 23H2 folder. Okay, so what I'm doing is, this E drive is already mapped, right? Sources, in the sources folder there is a install.esd file, so I'm not copying it manually. I'm closing this, also. What I'm doing is, I'm just copying this number 8 to 12. All those scripts we need to run through our Windows 2022 SRV system only. So I'm just copying it, copy, cancel this, and pasting it over here. Okay, so our number 8, what we have just explained over here, we will be copying install.esd from our Windows 11 ISO to DWIM Win 11 23H2 folder, which we have created earlier, right? So number 8, it's a simple copy command, copy item, and then this path, and destination will be this one. Okay, so let me clear this script, and now I'm copying it. Now since this particular install.esd size in GB, it will take 2 or 3 minutes to finish the copying, and after the copying we'll verify whether it has been actually copied onto our appropriate destination path. Now you can see it has successfully copied our multi-version OS image file install.esd on Windows 2022 SRV system locally. So let's go back to our D drive just to verify Win 11 23H2, and you can see the install.esd has been copied. The size is around about 6.61 GB, right? So this script has copied our install.esd. Now what's the next step? So script platform to execute Windows 2022 SRV we have already done. Okay, so now the next step is very important to understand. We need to execute next script for getting the Windows 11 22H2 OS index information from install.esd. So as I said, in a single ESD file there may be multiple versions integrated. So we need to extract only 3 versions. What are those 3 versions? Windows 11 Pro, Windows 11 Enterprise and Windows 11 IoT Enterprise. Okay, but before extracting it we need to know their index number. What is the index number, so that we can integrate that index number in our PowerShell script. So let's see what exactly it is doing. I'm closing this and I'm opening the next script, clearing the screen first, and before executing the script directly, the main command explanation again. So we are using the DISM, that is a WADK component, to get the Vim info, and the Vim file path is Windows 11 23H2 install.esd. So it will give us the information about our ESD, that how many versions have been integrated within a single ESD and what are their index numbers, right? So this is the main command. So I am just executing it now, and you can see immediately it has given the list of operating systems which have been integrated in a single ESD file. You can see there are around about 16 images integrated in a single ESD. Okay, so now we need to extract 3 operating system versions out of it. So what are those 3 operating systems? Windows 11 Pro, Windows 11 Enterprise and Windows 11 IoT Enterprise, right? So what are those indexes? You can see over here, index 5 is Windows 11 Pro. Sorry. So index 5 is Windows 11 Pro, this one. Index 6 is Windows 11 Enterprise, and index 7 is Windows 11 Enterprise, IoT Enterprise. Okay, so we need to extract this 5, 6 and 7, only those 3 ones, right? So let's move on to the next step. So of course the script platform to execute is Windows 2022 SRV, that we have already done. And the command I have mentioned specifically just to make you understand the guys, DISM/get vim info, then vim file path, full path. So it will give us a full information about the index numbers and the integrated operating system names. The next step will be, we need to note down the index numbers of Windows 11 23H2. Professional is 5 index number, Enterprise 6 and IoT Enterprise 7. So as I said, 5, 6, 7. So we need to remember these index numbers. Okay, so that also we have verified. So let's move on to the next step. So next step is, we need to execute our next script, which is number 10, for extracting the image indexes as follows. So what are the image indexes we are actually extracting? Index number 5 for Windows 11 23H2 Professional, index number 6 for Windows 11 Enterprise, and index number 7, that is Windows 11 23H2 Enterprise IoT version, right? So in a single script I have given all the 3 commands for extracting all 3 images. Okay, so let's move on to that script now. Let me first clear this script, and now I'm going back to the script number 10. Okay, extraction. Before executing it, let me just explain the portion of it, and the rest 2 portions are same. So you can see the exporting required images and the main command to understand over here is DISM export image. Then source image file is our ESD file, that is our DESD. Source index I have given is 6, that is for enterprise. Then next I have given 7 for enterprise IoT, and then I have given 5 for professional. I can give any series numbers, 567, 765, whatever, it will extract that one. After that, I have given the destination image file, and I have given the name to make you understand that what exactly version we have extracted. So I have given the name not as generic name as install.vim, but like Windows 11. Then sorry, it is given again, going back again and again, Windows 11 23H2 enterprise install.vim, because this is index number 6 for enterprise version. Same thing for next, index number 7 for enterprise IoT version, and then index number 5 is for professional version. So I have given the naming, destination file naming accordingly, just to avoid the confusion that which Vim file is for which version, right? And one more interesting command I have just given, the overall timing, means it will start our execution watch, and at the end of the script it will give us the total timing, how much time it has taken to extract all those images. And let me tell you, this particular script will take a lot of time. Sometimes it is taking 1 hour 30 minutes, sometimes it is taking 1 hour 40 minutes and all. So I will pause that video, I will not hold on that much, but I will pause that video once we are starting this script, and I will come back to you once the script is completed. Okay, but before that, let's start the script first. Okay, so I'm extracting the 3 versions out of main ESD files: Windows 11 Enterprise, Windows 11 Enterprise IoT, and Windows 11 Professional. Okay, so let's start. And now you can see it has started exporting required images from Windows 11 23H2 ESD file. So first we have started exporting our Windows 11 23H2 Enterprise Edition. Okay, you can see over here, and it will give us the progress bar, how much percent it has completed exporting a first edition. So it will complete 100%, then it will go to the second partition of this particular script, and it will extract the second image enterprise IT and the third image professional. So it will take at least 1 hour or 1.5 hours also. So I'm pausing this video as of now. Once this script is completed fully, I'll come back to you with the overall timings also. It will show how much time it has taken, and then we will move on to the next step. Alright, so as you can see, the script has been completed and it has taken 1 hour 34 minutes 46 seconds, as I said earlier. So what we have done throughout this particular long script is we have extracted 3 images out of our main ESD file. So let's verify that. So I'm going to my D drive Vim folder, and this folder, under this folder you can see the 3 images: enterprise, enterprise IoT, and pro. All Vim files have been extracted throughout this install.esd file through our index number what we have seen earlier, right? So this script has been completed. This is the long script which is taking round about 1.5 hours. So the script platform to execute, of course, was Windows 2022 SRV VM. We have done that, and the command to understand over here is DISM, then export image, then source image file will be dvim, and then our main install.esd, and then the source index, whatever could be the actual image you want to extract, that number, and then destination image will be your destination path, then the name of the Vim file, and compression will be max, so that our Vim file will be in compressed mode just to save the storage, and it will check the integrity, the 100% check mark upon the export or extraction of that particular image file. So this is the main command, and this but one command we have run 3 times in a single script. So we have extracted 3 images. As I said, install.vim file, 3 different install.vim files. You can see over here the enterprise IoT, and pro install.vim. okay, so 3 files are extracted out of this main install.esd file. Okay, let's move on to the next step. The next step is we need to download the latest monthly updates. So for our case it is February 2025 for each OS: Windows 10 22H2, Windows 11 23H2, and Windows 2022 server from Microsoft Update Catalog, and copy it in those operating systems respective updates folder. So as I said, for this particular video purpose we will be only considering the Windows 2020 Windows 11 23H2 case. Okay, so other 2 operating systems I have already downloaded, and I will run those scripts separately, but for the example purpose we will be only copying Windows 11 23H2 updates. Okay, so I'm going back to my main machine, and here inside this there is a folder, and I have already downloaded this month's updates. So there are 2 updates over here. One is your .NET Framework 4.8 update, and second one is a main one, which is your community update February 2025. As you can see over here, the size is around about 800 MB. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just copying both of these updates. Copy from main machine. I'm going back to my SRV thing, and we have already created this folder structure through PowerShell, right? I'm just copying it. Let me reconfirm that. Yes, it is Windows 11 23H2, and now I'm copying it in a updates folder. This is the only 1 or 2 steps what we are doing manually. Otherwise all the steps we are executing through PowerShell. So this is one of the manual step what we need to execute. So now the updates copying is almost done. Yes, and now we are having this month's latest community update. Now let's move on to the next step. So next step is we need to execute the next PowerShell script number 11 to integrate latest February 2025 updates in each of Windows 11 23H2 OS versions Vim file. Now remember, we have extracted 3 Vim files for Windows 11 versions: Windows 11 Enterprise, Windows 11 Enterprise IoT, and Windows 11 Pro. So I am integrating my updates on all 3 versions. Okay, so let's go back to our main machine over here, and let's close this. Let's clear this first, and I'm closing this, and I'm opening the next script over here, Windows 11 23H2 February 25 updates. So I'm saying, so let me explain the portion of it. So first of all, what I have done, I have just set up the command for mounting this particular Vim file. Now let me go back to my Vim folder over here. Now you can see over here we have extracted these Vim files. Now what we need to do is we need to mount this particular Vim file first on a local folder, then integrate the updates, then unmount it, and then delete the mount point also, and then again repeat all those 3 steps again for the second Vim, and then again for the third Vim. So I'm explaining this one more time. So for the first portion, and then the repetition of this particular portion for 2 times again. So first is the updates path. So updates paths I have already given: dvim win 11 underscore 23h2 and then updates folder. That's what we have copied our folder. See this path. right? Okay, and then the star. So whatever number of updates are there, it will take those updates. Okay, currently there are only 2, but let's say for next month there will be 5 updates, example. So all the 5 updates will be integrated, okay, one by one. Next is mount path. We need to mount that Vim file. Okay, let's go back here. We need to mount this particular Vim file on a local folder first, so that it will be a rewritable copy, and then we will integrate our updates on it, right? So the update parts will be this, mount path will be dmnt. So we have not created this folder yet, so this script will automatically create it. I have given that command also. And then the Vim file mount path will be dvim, and then win 2000 win 11 2033, and which Vim file we need to mount this. So this path, right? So first we will mount this particular Vim file. So path will be this path and this Vim. So this will be our mounting source mounting Vim file path, right? Then I have given this command dism mount Vim, then Vim file will be Vim file, means this Vim file will be getting mounted. Which index? We have extracted this install.vim only for the single index. If you remember, 5, 6 and 7, all those are individual index, so only one index. So index 1, and then mount directory will be mount path. So mount path will be our dmnt, right? So next is, once this is mounted, we will be having a confirmation successfully mounted, and then I have given the command for integration of all the updates in that mounted path, right? So update array will be get item updates path. So it will get the item, means one by one it will get these updates, get item, one item, second item, third item if it is there, all this. So it will get each item, and then for each updates in updates array it will integrate using this command. So dism add package path will be our updates get item, right? So a simple logic is there. It will first count on the number of updates it is having by get item. Let's say 2 updates are there right now, and then it will integrate those updates into our mount path, which we have already done, right? Once those updates are applied to a Vim, it will unmount the Vim file. After that it will start unmounting. It will say updates applied to Vim, unmounting the file, then unmount command will be there, dism unmount Vim, mount directory will be our dmnt, that is mount path, and commit. After that it will clean up our mnt, and after that the final step will be it will delete that dmnt mount point also, right? So this is the first portion, okay, and this is for the first Vim file, that is for the enterprise Vim file, right? This one first, okay. Now you can see at the last it is deleting our mount point also, okay. So the first portion is completed. Second portion, again it will start from the scratch, but for the second Vim file, that is your ent iot version, that is your second Vim file. All the updates and all the commands will be same, but for the second Vim file, and same thing for the third portion, your pro Vim file, okay. So in short, what it is doing is it is integrating these 2 updates. One is your .NET 4.8 community update, and second is your Windows 11 23H2 February 2025 community update, main community update, near about 780 MB, right? So it is integrating both of these updates one by one to all the install.vim files, 1, 2, 3, right? So I have made it in a single script so that I don't have to run multiple scripts for each Vim. So in a single script it is integrating all the updates one by one to all the 3 Vim files. I hope I'm clear. If not, you can pause this video and reverse this to listen to this explanation again, okay. And again I have put in the stopwatch at the start of this particular script, and then at the end of this particular script I have given the again the elapsed timing, so that it will show us the actual time of the script to integrate all the updates in 3 different WIM files. Okay, so let's start this particular script and let's see what is happening. So now you can see creating a mount point for Windows 11. Now it has created that particular folder DMNT, you can see over here, and now it has started mounting my first WIM file, that is this WIM file. You can see okay, this WIM file into my MNT point, right? So let it complete. I am pausing this video as of now and let's see what it is actually doing. So I'm going, by the time I'm just going back, and you can see the MNT folder has been created, and now it is mounting my WIM file inside this MNT. Okay, so I don't want to disturb this process, so let it mount. After mounting, it will start integrating the updates also, so I will show you that screen also, but as of now I'm just pausing this video for a minute because it will take some time to mount my WIM file. Okay, so let's wait for this mounting process to be finished. And now you can see the mounting process has almost finished. The first process is mounting. Okay, so you can see successfully mounted the Windows 11 23H2 Enterprise Edition. Okay, now it is going for the second command for integrating our updates. Now you can see the processing one of one, adding package, and it is showing the MSU name, and now it is adding package to my that WIM file, the first WIM file which we have mounted. Okay, after this it will go for the second update, and after that it will unmount my first WIM file, and then it will repeat those steps for the second WIM file and for the third WIM file also. Okay, so I hope I'm clear with the explanation. So let it complete. It will take some time. Once this is completed, I will come back to you with the next step. Alright, so finally we have completed our script. I don't know why it has taken long time, 1 hour 45 minutes. Anyways, it has finally finished, so I'm going back to the PPT for the next step. So what we have done, we have integrated the February 2025 latest updates on all 3 extracted images. Now let's go back to the next step, and the script platform, of course, on 2022 SRV VM. Okay, so next step is same. Now since we have updated all of our 3 images, now we need to re-import them or reclub them to a single ISD so that I can install it through one ISO. So the next script, it execute the next script number 12 for appending the Windows 11 23H2 Enterprise image with Windows 11 Enterprise IoT and Pro images. Okay, so I'm going back here, clearing this screen, and I'm opening the 12th and last script. Okay, so coming back to the explanation of this particular script, this script will export our enterprise install.vim file first as an install.esd, a normal install.esd name. Okay, compression will be the max and integrity will be checked. Once that is done, that will be our first portion of an ESD. Then the second command will do, it will export our enterprise IoT install.vim, and it will export to what? Export to our existing install.esd which we have exported in the first step or first command. So invariably it will overwrite, it will not overwrite, it will append. Okay, so this install.esd, the first one will be enterprise, the second portion will append it to enterprise plus enterprise IoT, and the last command will do enterprise plus enterprise IoT plus Pro. So these three portions will club all the three images into one single ESD. Okay, so this will be our last script. So I am just executing it. Alright, so let's execute this particular script. And now you can see it is exporting and appending our first image enterprise, right? So it is exporting the first image. After this first portion, it will append it with the second portion with enterprise IoT, and the third portion will be professional. But note down that it will be only a single install.esd file. We will see how it looks like once this is exported completely. Okay, so it will take some time. I will pause this video for a minute, and once this is completed I will come back to you with the next step. Now just want to show you guys, this is the first portion has been exported successfully, and now the second portion, it is exporting and appending the second IoT enterprise image. Okay, so this is the second reference image, it is appending on our first install.esd. Okay, so I think it's doing quite a bit fast, so let's wait for it to complete. Let's see how much time it will take. I think it will take another 2 minutes or so. So now it has already exported the second portion also, I think 100%. And now you can see it has successfully exported the Windows 11 23H2 second portion IoT enterprise image, right? So two different images it has exported into one, right? And now the third portion, it will start exporting the professional image also, right? So it will take another 2 minutes. Let's see. Yes, it has almost finished. You can see over here exporting and appending Windows 11 23H2 Pro image, right? So it has almost finished. And till the time it is just finishing, just note down the destination path I have given is Win 11 23H2 dvim 23H2 final image folder and then install.esd. Okay, just to make it separate. So it has taken around about 3 minutes 52 seconds. It's quite fast compared to previous two scripts which has taken 1.5 hour and 45 minutes and so. Anyways, so I'm going to the folder for where we have exported our final image. So this is our final image, and you can see the overall size is around about 10 GB, because we have integrated the latest updates also, and we have integrated 3 different images into a single one, right? So let's move on to the next step. So we have finished this particular script number 12, and our execution platform will be of course Windows 2022 SRV VM. Now we need to now edit our original ISO using any ISO editing tool. Ultra ISO I'm using it for this case, and we need to replace the existing install.esd with the new install.esd, right? So before doing this particular step, let's go back here, and I want to show you something. Now this is our final ESD, right? So let's check out how many indexes it is currently showing, right? What I'm doing is index info. I'm opening this and I'm just copying this particular command, paste it over here. This is not integrated in PPT, but just to show you guys, I'm just replacing this path with our final ESD path, right? So our final ESD path is like this. I will say copy, say this one, and then install.esd, right? Enter. Now you can see we are having three images. First is enterprise, second is enterprise IoT, and third one is pro. So our ESD operation completed successfully. This is just to show you guys what we are actually exporting to our final ISO. Okay, so now let's move on to the next step. So now what we need to do is we need to copy this install.esd to our main machine first. So I'm coming to my main machine, and now first of all I'm copying this particular install.esd from this particular final image folder, this final ESD. Now it will take some time, so let's do one thing. These are the small steps which we are always missing, but it is useful at times. So I'm just giving a local IP over here. Okay, so local IP, and then what I'm doing is I'm just sharing this folder. Okay, share this. Okay, fine. So now closing this, coming to my main machine, and I'm going to run and just putting the IP of that Win 2022 SRV machine. It will ask me for the credentials. I will put it, and you can see we have just shared this folder. So I am going inside here, final image, and this is my ESD file. I will copy and I will paste it my main machine. So it will be very fast because we have been copying through network. Otherwise it will take 20-30 minutes to copy 10 GB. So anyways, now we have copied our final ESD to our main machine. Now what I'm doing is I'm just making a copy of this particular AIO. Okay, copy, paste. Alright, so we have finished copying our ISO. I'm now renaming it to something else just to avoid the confusion. So what I'm doing is making it as 3-in-1, and now I need to change this particular build version also. Okay, so what are those build versions? I have already rectified it. Let me just show you. Just going forward, don't worry, I will show you these steps again. So once you are integrating your February 25 updates, your build version will be 22.631.4890. How to identify it I will just show you, but as of now I'm just renaming it. Okay, Okay, so I've just renamed it with the appropriate build version. Now what I need to do is I will just double click it. It will open through Ultra ISO. I'll go to the sources folder and there is an install.esd file. I will delete it, and now I will drag my install.esd which we have just copied. You can see over here the latest timing. I've just drag it over here. Okay, so this is the final ESD what we have prepared through our all the scripts, which is actually having all the updates integrated also. Okay, so once this is done, I will save this. Okay, and now this backup file I don't require. Now this is our final ISO which has been prepared. Okay, you can see the latest timing. Okay, so let's go back to our steps now. So we have edited our original ISO through any ISO editor tool, that is Ultra ISO, and we have deleted our original install.esd file, right? Next step what we have done is we have replaced our original OS deleted install.esd with the newly created final image install.esd file what we have created earlier, right? And we have finally saved our ISO, right? So up to this part we have completed. Let's move on to the next step. So next step is test the Windows 11 OS ISO with following parameters. Booting from Windows 11 23H2 updated till February 25 updates ISO, and checking OS selection entries and installing preferred available OS version Windows 11 23H2 Enterprise. So what I'm doing is over here is through Hyper-V I am creating a new fresh VM. Okay, let me first delete the unwanted ones first, because there will be a space problem and something. And now let me go back to my VMs folder, and then I will delete this folder also, right? Okay, now I'm creating Windows 11 base folder. Simple. And now I'm creating a fresh VM. This will be a straightforward new virtual machine. Next, browse. I'll go to my folder and then given the path, next, generation 2, next, 16 GB of RAM, next, internal 100 GB, ESD. I will say install operating system later, that's fine. Next and finish. Okay, so this is a normal VM I have created. Now I will go to the settings of it and I will add one DVD drive over here, add image file, browse, and I will go to my 23H2 folder, and we have just finalized our ISO, right? This is the latest one, right? So I'm just mapping it, apply, and I will say firmware boot entry first as a DVD drive, apply, OK, right? Now we have created a simple VM and we have mapped our ISO, the newly integrated ISO. Okay, now we need to test two things over here. First, whether it should show us all the three entries: enterprise, IoT enterprise, and professional. That is first checkpoint. Second checkpoint, after installing the OS whether it is showing us the latest build or not. Okay, so let me start. Now I'll boot from CD. So it is showing multi-language, that's fine. I'm choosing English, and now I will say next. Okay, I will say install now. You can remove those multi-language entries also if you want to. That is another process. So I don't have a product key as of now, that's fine. And you can see enterprise, IoT enterprise and pro, all three as are visible. I can choose anything, any version which I want to install. As of now I'm choosing enterprise, right? So all the three images have been updated with February 2025 updates. So it will not make any difference. The only difference is the version which you want to install. The features, the overall OS features will vary upon that. So I am just choosing the Windows 11 Enterprise and saying next, and rest of the OS installation process is the same like anything. So I'm pausing this video as of now for one more last time, and once this installation gets completed we will check our second checkpoint, that what build version it is showing and how to verify whether those February 2025 updates have been installed or not. How to verify that, that will be our last checkpoint. Okay, so as of now I'm pausing this video for 2 minutes. Once this particular installation is done I will come back to you. Alright, so we have just finished our Windows 11 operating system installation. I'm just logging in for the first time. And now we are heading towards the final check whether our Windows 11 is showing the latest version or not, and I will show you how to verify it also. So let's go back to our PPT first. So this checkpoint we have already seen that it was showing the three operating systems entry or three different WIM file entries. Now we want to see whether it is showing the latest OS build 226314890. So I'm heading back to my Windows 11 machine and I'm just running a simple command winver, and yes, it is showing 226314890. What does this OS build means? Okay, so let's go back to my normal machine. I'm just opening an Internet Explorer, and in the Google I'm just typing Windows 11 version history or build history. Okay, so here is the official link of Windows 11, and if I'm clicking on Windows 11, let's see, just a minute, is it the same size? Just a minute. Let me see over here. Yes, so you can see over here 23H2. The first version has been released on 31st October 2023. The 11th of February, this is this month's, the latest build is 4890. You can see over the latest version and latest revision date 4890, right? So this is one kind of an confirmation you can get. Okay, so every month whenever you are applying the latest updates, this build number will get changed, it will get increased. Okay, So this is the second confirmation I want to show you guys. Okay, so this is done, and the next step will be we can repeat the steps from 8 to 18 whatever we have done to test the Windows 10 OS ISO also with the following parameters. We can integrate Enterprise and IoT Enterprise and Pro for Windows 10, and the latest build will be 190455487. This is for the Windows 10 22H2 version, right? And the same way we can boot it from there, and we will integrate the February 25 updates into Windows 10 ISO, right? So same explanation what I have written over here. This is for the Windows 10 22H2 version, right? So the main version will remain same, the only build version will get increase, right? And the same way we can go for the Windows Server also. I have done that. So I have integrated 4 versions: data center desktop, means data center GUI, standard GUI, then standard core, and data center core. So these are the 4 server versions also you can integrate, and the latest version is like this one, 23483207. Once you are integrating your February 2025 updates into your WIM files, right? And the server version is Windows Server 2022, server version is 21H2, right? So this is how you can integrate. This particular whole video looks very lengthy to you. If at all, then it will be a one-time practice. It will be useful for the offline patching. Once you are done with all those scripts are ready, the only thing you need to do for the next month is to download the latest updates, put it in a particular updates folder, and run your scripts. So it will export your WIM files, it will integrate the updates, it will again re-export it and convert it to the ESD file. Everything can be done through PowerShell. Okay, so this is how you can manage your offline WIM files or ESD files through your PowerShell for Windows patching and integrating your applications also at times. Okay, so on this particular slide I want to show you the final version build numbers for your reference. So for Windows 10 version 22H2, original build release 20th October 2022, original build number is this 2194. Just concentrate on the last 4 digit. And then the latest build is 11th of February, as I told. Whenever you are updating your operating system with the latest updates, the build number will get upgraded, and then latest build will be, this will be same 19045, and the last 4 digit 5487. Same thing for Windows 11, latest build is 4890. This is what we have done practically Windows 11, and we have verified it also. Same thing for Windows Server 2022, version is 21H2. Originally it has released on 2021 14 September, and the latest build is 11th February. Latest build is 3207. 20348 will be same, right? So this is what I need to show you, how to check your latest build numbers and what. So looking at your build numbers also, you can pronounce, or you can guess that up to what point your operating system has been updated with the latest Windows updates. Alright, so this is as of February 2025. Okay, so thanks for watching this particular video. It might be very long, but I hope it will be useful for you technical guys. Thanks once again. This is your host from Swaroop IT Solutions. If you like this particular video, do share it with your technical colleagues, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you one more time for your time. Have a good day.